in my view, Eightfold Path, if you're all familiar with the Eightfold Path? Never heard of the Eightfold Path? How many of you have heard of the Eightfold Path? I must get you to do a bit of exercises before you are alert and awake. So, all of you have heard of the Eightfold Path, right? Now let me ask you, Eightfold Path, now it's Q&A. See, I like to be a bit different in my talk. Most people Q&A at the end, mine start at the beginning. My Q&A to you is this. Eightfold Path can be understood in 3 parts. What are they? Panya, Sīla, Samadhi. Okay, now I ask you again, do you know of the Eightfold Path? How many parts Panya? How many parts Sīla? How many parts Samadhi? 2, 3, 3. Who told you one? No, seriously. This is what you understand, right? It's 1, 5, 2. Buddha never said 2, 3, 3, right? Right? Have you heard Buddha said, Panya, 2 parts. Sīla, 3 parts. Samadhi, 3 parts. Has Buddha ever said that? Have you ever found any sutta where the Buddha said Panya, Sīla, Panya, no battery. We have never paid electrical bills. So sad. Have you ever heard Buddha said Panya, Sīla, Samadhi is 2, 3, 3? No, right? But here you have this fella saying something which the whole world has always known to be 2, 3, 3. Why did I say 1, 5, 2? Okay, you know about the Eightfold Path, right? So let me walk you through. That is actually not the lecture yet. This is showing you the weight placed on Sīla in the practice. The first one says right view, right understanding, right perspective, right attitude. When you don't know any better, it is at best a view, an impression. When you really understand, or rather, as you begin to deepen your understanding of the Dhamma, as you begin to deepen your understanding of the Dhamma, a view is no longer just a view. It becomes an understanding. And when you really understand the Dhamma, it is not an understanding, it's your entire worldview. This is your start point in life, in everything, in how you see life, in how you understand priorities in life, the important things in life, all rest on the Four Noble Truths. So when we say at the start point, it is a view, yes, because you don't know any better. But when you really understand the Dhamma, it makes up your entire world. This is how you understand the nature of life to be. So what English word can be used to describe a state of a perspective from that angle? I don't know. Understanding sounds mild now, isn't it? It sounds a bit insufficient, not complete. But whatever it is, this is your worldview. So you start off with the correct worldview. That's one. And of course, this is Panya. Followed by something called right thought, right Sankappa, right? What did the Buddha say Sankappa is, or was? Buddha said, Nekkamma, Aveyapadda, avihimsa. Nekkhamma, to renounce, to let go, not to hold, not to be so greedy, to hanker, to want. Is that wisdom? Yes, it sits on wisdom. But what is it? If I ask you, hey, don't be so greedy, let be. Is that pure wisdom? Understanding is wisdom. But holding it, behaving that way is Sīla. If I ask you not to hold so tightly, to forgive, to let go, to let be, to take it easy, it is actually a form of Sīla, isn't it? Because what is Sīla? Sīla is avoid evil, do good, purify mind. That's the usual way someone sum up Sīla. So under right thought, it said nekkhamma. First point, don't hold, let be, forgive. Isn't it sounds like a Sīla to me? But Sīla sitting on understanding, sitting on wisdom. Don't have ill will. Amriyapada. Don't have ill will. Don't have hatred. Don't be cruel. It is Sīla sitting on understanding. Then comes right speech, right action, right livelihood, and it's obviously Sīla. No question. So that's 4 of 8. And then the next one says right effort. You tell me, what is right effort? If there is anything unwholesome, unskillful, chop. If you find that there isn't unwholesomeness in your mind, don't let it surface. If you do not have wholesomeness, no kusala in your mind, bring it up. And if it's already there, proliferate, grow, expand, increase. What is that? Sīla sitting on a quiet mind. Sīla sitting on practice, mindful practice. And then comes Sati Samadhi, right? So you tell me, is it 1, 5, 2? Sounds like it, isn't it? My advice is, in this practice, it is always good to go back, examine the mind, and understand the teaching for what it is with clarity. Not because others say so, Kalama Sutta, not just because someone else says so. Examine it for yourself. Know for yourself. Okay? Now comes the actual talk. Tonight we're going to do 3 things. I will explain a little bit more on what is Sīla. I will explain why is it so important to know, to practice, to hold. In my view, they are not the same. To know is to understand what you are doing. To practice is to put into operation, put into practice what you understand. And there will be days when you will miss it. At that point, go back to the practice, hold that line. Protect your Sīla. Protect your mind. Sīla is to protect the mind. Sīla is also to help you be happy. If you don't have Sīla, you cannot possibly be a happy person. If you say, yeah, but I'm not sad, you wait until the sadness comes, you will sink, you plunge right rock bottom, like an anchor in the deep black sea. Why must your sea be blue? Must it be blue? Seriously? Because if your mind is sad and dark and lonely and surely cannot be blue. Blue is a nice bright sunny day. Okay. Now, I've decided that I shall not be so creative as to click, click, click. It's just too much work. I got to hold the line and explain. It's too much. I just do the whole thing, and then I can talk as I wish. Okay. You notice that on this slide, and invariably when the Buddha said this, he will say, "Avoid evil, do good, purify mind." There is a reason for this sequence. Did you know that? The regular mind, because it's called Sīla, right? Sīla in English translated as morality. If you want a lot more information, you can download the book, my book, from Jetawada. People are just going to imagine that I'm selling this book. I'm not selling the book. You just go and download. Every time you click yes, I get $10. No, not 1 cent. So, avoid evil, do good, purify mind. The reason is because the regular mind, now we are all regular people, so our regular mind sits on your genetic code, and our genetic code is put in place to keep us alive, to keep us going, to protect us. As such, because of that, the natural instinct of a living, conscious, regular person, or even animal, it does not matter what you are, as long as you're alive and you're conscious and you need food for survival and so on, this is a natural behavior. You will fight for your interests. You protect yourself. You keep yourself alive. You fight for the resources to keep yourself alive. And once it starts fighting, it doesn't know when to draw the line, it doesn't know to stop. So you will not only fight to protect yourself, you will fight to expand your wealth. You will fight for everything that matters to you. Anything. As long as you put a value, you will fight. Hello Kitty also you will fight. That's why there's no discrimination. The fight instinct for something you want and you like has no discrimination. I like it, I want it, I fight. That's the regular genetic, that's in our genes, that's how we behave. Because of that, you will find that the regular mind has one top mental state: loba, greed. It does not make you a good person or a bad person, it makes you a normal person. And because of that, it's because of this habit, this instinct, this drive for survival and self-interest. Because of that, the mind leans towards akusala. It's a very natural thing. You don't do anything, already you feel akusala. The more you want something, the more akusala you will become. So that's why I don't have to say, hold the akusala line. There's so many of the akusala lines. In fact, you have to do it the other way around. So that's why the first thing is avoid evil. Avoid actions, avoid thoughts, avoid words that feed your natural habits. Do good. Instead, perform action, speaks in a certain way, think in a certain way, that will promote wholesomeness, promote welfare, promote happiness, promote wholesomeness in us. This is something we need to constantly bear in mind. Many of us looking for Dhamma, in fact, many of us sitting down here say, I'm looking for Dhamma. Sīla, I know already. I need Dhamma, so I need Panya, I need Samadhi. Wrong. No Sīla, there is no Panya. Did you that if you don't know very much about the Dhamma, but Sīla comes naturally for you, for whatever reason you are by instinct a nicer person, a gentler person, a patient person, by instinct, a giving person. If that comes very easy for you, even without a lot of knowledge, Dhamma conceptual knowledge, even if you don't have a lot of that, you're fundamentally happier. But if Sīla doesn't come naturally for you, because for whatever reason you have worked your mind into a one thing, craving, needing, advancement, and so on and so forth, even if you hold a PhD in Buddhist doctrine, PhD in Buddhist doctrine, you can rattle off in Pali, and Sanskrit. I might as well just throw it in. Pali and Sanskrit. You are no different from the regular man. Other than the DR, rather than the MR in front of your name, you are no different from the regular man. You understand? And that's why Sīla is that important. It's the one thing that will bring you happiness. Okay? So, trying to do what's right. Now, many people assume that evil or unwholesomeness is just that 5 precepts. Have you all read my book yet? Wow, this is such an encouragement. I'm feeling so loved. No time! Yo! Really? No. All the details are there. Okay? I got no time to tell you all the details. But I'll tell you this. To avoid evil, minimally observe that 5 precepts. But actually, Buddha said avoid the 10 akusala action. And for speech, there are 4, and that 4 is what I call regular squatters in your house. In your house. Harsh speech, slander. Okay, you don't slander people, but you talk bad about people. Maybe not maliciously, but because you're angry, you see, the fella is really nasty. You know what he did to me? Or, hey, I tell you something new about this person. What is that? Gossip, sampapalapa, harsh speech. You talk bad about people, you rarely talk good about. How many of you say, hey, I tell you that, he's so sweet, man. Then people go, very, very interesting, man. Very nice, man, seriously. What did you tell me about what he did last night? Why tell me why he went to the temple, he paid respect to monk. You see, even you hear the stories, so not very exciting. He went to the temple, he bowed before the Buddha, he paid respect to the monk, he sat there and listened to Dhamma talk. End of story. Not very exciting, right? Human, we all love a good Korean drama. So, for akusala, you see how our mind engage in all kinds of funny words based on loba. Loba, greed, dosa, anger, these are your moha we all have, okay? Loba, dosa drive our life. Because of loba is greed, dosa is anger. From now on, no more greed, anger, it will be loba, dosa. Okay? Learn and memorize. You just see how your life is dominated by loba, dosa. Don't tell me I don't kill, I don't steal, I'm okay. No. You have loba, you have dosa, you are doing some kind of unwholesome acts really. The mind just loves it. Loves a good gossip. That unfortunately is a habit. So 3 by action, 4 by speech, 3 by mind. 3 by action, killing, stealing, and adultery. Okay, sexual misconduct. 4 by speech, lying, harsh speech, slander, chit-chat, chit-chatting, okay? 4. Then comes that 3, thoughts that arise in your mind. You like it or not, they just float up. 1, avarice. You want. You see and you're envious. It sits on greed. Something that makes you jealous, in other words. You hanker after something. It's in your mind. Now, you say, oh yeah, I'm very peace-loving, I don't hanker for car. Yeah, but you hanker for people. People know Dhamma, people meditation got jhana, you don't have. Then you 脚回消 already. How come he understand? I don't understand. There's something wrong with me. That is avarice. Even that. Even when you can't rejoice for another, and in your mind you wish you have it. Why him? What's so special about him? When you have a mind like this, that's it. And this can happen anywhere. It does not have to be a car. It does not have to be a condominium. As long as there's loba in us, as long as loba arises in us, this can happen. For instance, something as innocent as this. You walk up, one friend comes running to the two of you, and then offer one of you a drink, and the other one you get a drink. Yeah? Avarice. You didn't see I'm here, is it? Avarice. Alright? Ill will. The next one is ill will. Ill will is very simple. Anything, even the slightest amount that creeps up and is unpleasant, like a boy making noise, and you give the look, give the look. It is a patiga, okay? And ill will has a reason. Then comes the third one, wrong views. And then you go, oh, chala. Wrong views, like, very chala. It is very chala. Every time, okay, in the sutta, it's very straightforward. In the sutta, it's straightforward. You don't believe in consequences of action. You don't believe that there are becoming, there is becoming. You don't believe in social norms and responsibilities and duties towards parents and to the world. That kind of, you lack morality. You believe you're everything, you can do whatever you want. And really, there's no consequences, anything you choose to do. To hold that kind of view will lead to you literally doing whatever you want to advance your interests. And if you hold that view, it means there is a very high risk, very high chance that you will be unrestrained in pursuing your loba and dosa. And for that, there will be a price to pay. Okay? That's straightforward. These are the 10 akusalas. Now dare you tell me that we are free of, we hold the Sīla line. We are free from akusala. Not really lah. Unless I see the hello on you. I see. Like, don't have that. Something like that, huh? Do good. Now, this is the part that is don't do it only, Don't do these things. Try not to be jealous. Try not to be envious. If someone come running to your friend without giving you water, try not to, don't do that. Just let be. Something like that, huh? Do good. He has 10 kusala. First, the do good is the opposite of that 5 precepts. You know that. But it's the 10 akusala. And it goes like this. Dhamma. To give. To be generous. Sīla is morality. Bhavana, do service, perform merits, do wholesome deeds, rejoice when another is doing it. Listen to the Dhamma, share the Dhamma, clarify your views. I am not elaborating because I am promoting my book. No, because we have a few slides to cover. If this is all about the 10 wholesome action, I would sit here and talk to you the whole night. But no, this is more. Purify mind. Why is this one special? Because it gets your mind, your awareness to the point when you are not satisfied about not doing bad and just doing good, but about not allowing unwholesome, unskillful mental states to arise at all time. And you have Brahma Vihara with you all the time. Metta, compassion, loving kindness is traditional translation, the classical translation, but it means friendliness, metta, karuna, compassion, mudita, to have to rejoice with someone with empathy, rejoice, and upekkha, equanimity, to be in that state at all time with your mind, not even one drop of lobha dosa, and you perfect that. Now, there are certain mental states which generally people wouldn't say they are evil, but I will consider them as unskillful and an obstacle to the practice. These mental states will be like boredom, being bored, being anxious, being fearful. If you're frightened, you're not immoral, right? I mean, who say being frightened is immoral? No. But being frightened is an obstacle to practice. Being agitated is another obstacle to practice. Being fatigued and tired, I don't feel like it. You know that phrase, don't feel like it? Don't feel, full stop. Like it is where the akusala part comes in, the unskillful part comes in, okay? Now, I wrote this line here, balance between feelings, interests, and communal well-being. You see, very often, when we talk about Sīla, morality, we focus on actions, doing something for someone or not doing something to someone, right? So, in our mind, it's actually about someone. But it's not, it's about yourself, your own desire, your interests, your sense of what's advantageous to you relative to someone else. For a good person, for a person who is more wholesome, who leans towards kusala, wholesome, his sense of his interests and his desire and his feelings, he tried not to have that imposing on another. You see, resources of the world are finite. Space is finite. Energy, time, money, everything is finite. And it's always a choice between your interests first, your feelings, or someone else's. It's always this balance. For someone, I've mentioned this somewhere before, for someone who is akusala, more unwholesome, his interests, needs, desires occupy the vast, the most of his attention, his energy, his focus, his resources. It's all about him. And then someone else who is more wholesome, way nicer, way kinder, the world will say, you see, he gives everything away, he gives everything away. You see what I'm saying? And we think, the regular person assume that this trade-off means I am making the sacrifice. If I give you, I don't have. If this is one piece left, and I give it to you, I don't eat. So it's a trade-off that I person assumes the score is like this. But that is actually the wrong view. Because if you think about it, one piece of cake left and you say I eat it, oh no, I give it to you, therefore I lose, right? But you didn't realize that you have gained if you had given happily. You had given with joy. What you gain back is much more than carbohydrates. Did you realize that? You gain back much more food for the mind. That ability to let go and let someone else have this, whatever that you're vying over, I know what you're fighting for, to let the fella have it may seem like a loss. As I said, carbohydrates. But actually, you didn't. You gain here. You gain the joy. And it is the memory of the joy. Do you still remember the cake you ate? But do you remember the joy you gave? Do you know what I'm saying? So this thing about balance, you must understand that the regular perspective is a flawed perspective. Of course, you have gained. If you had eaten it yourself, you have gained not just the carbohydrate, you have gained the weight. The calories, the weight. Your body thanks you for it. But it depends, no? Your mind may say, yeah, not very nice. Okay, so how do we tell what's a nice person? The regular nice person, you just imagine, one slice of chocolate cake. I chose chocolate because some of us will eat durian. So one slice of nice chocolate cake, right? These are the options. I eat the whole cake. I give the whole cake away to Nugget. I give the whole cake away. Just Nugget, the rest of you don't want. Okay, right? Or what are the other options? I slice 1/3, 2/3. I slice half. I slice you can slice in whatever sizes. And you know for yourself, this is how you will judge. Someone who shares 50-50 is? Someone who shares 50-50 is? Fair. Someone who shares 1/3, 2/3 is?
Generous.
So you are a generous man. Because if you share 1/3, 2/3, that 1/3 you kept, 2/3 you gave away. You see what I'm saying? It was a test. And 99% failed. Either don't know how to answer, no answer, anyhow answer. Only one pass. No. You hear me? It reflects your mind. When I say 50-50 was to put you off guard. So you say fair, correct. If you wanted 2/3, it's up to you to say it. And the one who says generous, his assumption is, 1/3 I keep lah, 2/3 I give away. I make friend. Right? Then the one who says, is stingy. You are the one who's very scared people will makan you. So that's how you react. This is slide 1. So, okay, you understand the balance. It's always, this thing about morality, you just read the book, the details are there. But the idea here is comparison. It's always about comparison here. And the wrong view is to assume that when you give, you let someone have it, it is a loss for you. It is not. It is not. You gain in other ways. By giving, and giving correctly with understanding, you gain at least in 2 ways. 1, you gain in emotional happiness. 2, you gain in wisdom. If you can give with understanding, you will feel the joy. And you will experience, when you experience that joy, you must straight away remember the joy and say to yourself, how is it that when I thought, my ego is in the way, but when I gave, my ego is happy. I mean, whatever it is, there's not ego, there's a sense of happiness. So Buddha was right. That noble truth. That in letting go, one derives joy. Okay? Actually, I've been saying this, right? Happiness in this life and the next life. Oh, I didn't say this. Okay. In many parts in teaching, in the Buddha's teaching, he had said this before. And this is something to bear in mind. Assuming that you believe in, assuming you don't believe in rebirth, huh? You cannot say everyone does, right? Some of you may, some of you, a minority of you may not. If you do not believe in rebirth, it's okay. But know this, when you do good, when you are kind, when you are compassionate, when you don't hold and you say it's okay, I forgive, when you exercise patience, when you do all these things, do you feel joyful or do you feel more angst? If you feel more angst, then whatever you are doing, number one, you're not doing with understanding, and number two, you're not doing sincerely. If you are doing with understanding, meaning you understand to hold its anger, not to just let be, you feel it is with understanding you let be. But if you tell me, I have forgiven but I don't feel good about it, you have not forgiven. You have bluffed yourself into believing you have forgiven, but you have not. Because if you have really forgiven, you would have moved on. Whatever incident wouldn't be in your mind at all. Okay? And very often we are not able to let go because our mind keeps thinking about it. So every time you think, you get angry all over again. Every time you think, you get annoyed, you get agitated, you get impatient, your heart pounds faster. So very often when it comes to this thing about doing good, forgiving, be patient, be kind, be generous, all these wholesome activities, when you say, I'm not deriving joy from these activities, it actually means you're not doing it right. You're not understanding what you're doing. You're doing for doing sake. It is just for show. But when you're doing right, you're doing it with understanding, you're doing it sincerely, for sure you will derive pleasure, happiness. And this is science, by the way. This is not Dhamma alone. This is science. They have done experiments and researches, and they have investigated minds, test minds, check. And when they get them to do kusala acts like giving only, right? Giving and patience, the brain will produce the necessary chemicals which will be experienced as pleasure, happiness. Okay? So, even if you do not believe in another life, the fact that you are doing these things, these activities, these kusala activities, you will feel happiness. Your reward is you take your dividend up front. Your payback up front. Then the second part, next life. You can either say next life is tomorrow or down the, meaning right now it's one life and tomorrow is another. Because there is another day, another person, another you. Or it could be the literal next life. In the Buddhist teaching, in our canon, there were stories, and there were many stories about how people in their lifetime had done kusala deeds, and when they passed away, they passed away happily. The mind is very light when they are passing away, and because of that, the next becoming is a heavenly rebirth. fact, it was really, really cute. This is in another book, not out yet, but I was doing research for that charter, and I came across all these little stories, very cute little stories. Lay people in life go dana the Buddha, and every time he dana the Buddha, he will say, Buddha, have compassion on me, accept my gift, and may I be born in whatever heaven. Okay, number 3 heaven. And Buddha will just accept the gift. And then when he passed away, he came to visit the Buddha as a dewa. He came and visited. And the Buddha said, so did you get to number 3 heaven? And he said, yeah, I'm in number 3 heaven, very pleased with himself. So his aspiration came true. And there were quite a few stories like that. People going to the Buddha to their dana. But this is the specific one where there were many instances you offer robe, you offer food, you offer something. And every time he offered, he says, may I be born in number 3? Huh? May I be born in number 3? And then he came back and reported, done. So, as promised. So there are all these cute little stories. I mentioned here that it is the practitioner's start point. For those of you who are very keen on walking the path and understanding the Dhamma for yourself, for those of you who are very keen on it, Sīla is a critical start point. When we started this talk, you remember we discussed the Eightfold Path, right? And we said Eightfold Path is 3 parts. Panya, Sīla, and Samadhi. How many of you would say that Panya, you can try and you had gone for classes, gone for courses, attended structured courses and all? How many of you say that? I've done that? Attend classes, DFC also count. Okay? So that is gathering information, gathering knowledge, right? How many of you would say we have tried to do meditation? And the rest of you never do anything, seriously. Never try. Go for classes or not? This is your first talk. How many people say this is my first talk? Good. Very good. At least you're here already. Let's start with This is coming to listen to talks and all. It's a start point. It's for Panya. You're developing Panya. Okay? Not that you go back and I'm Panya already. No lah, must take your time lah. Because the neural cells all must gather information and store properly. Okay. So that's Panya. Then Samadhi, you know, Now, for those of you who try to meditate, would you say that it's easier than Panya or harder than, easier than the search for Panya or harder than the search for Panya? Harder. Everybody also say harder. Very easy one, sit down there, close eyes, breathe. What's so difficult? Breathe. As opposed to Panya, right? Panya, to develop Panya, you got to read and read and read. Oh, I cannot remember. 4 what? 4 what? 4 not enough for 8 what? 8 what? 3 is easier, that 3 is easier. Okay. Why am I laughing so happily? Why are you laughing so happily? I know why I'm laughing, but why are you laughing so happily? You see, Panya, Sīla, Samadhi, that's how the Buddha said it, right? There is a reason for that. First, you must know what you are doing. So Panya, at different levels, all this is not a one-off thing. Even when you learn how to dance, you must first have the preliminary, the steps, understand how to shake hands, shake legs, shake arms, shake head also. You must know the steps. And then after that, you try to do the steps. So basically, everything has steps. So Panya is the same thing. Start point, you must know what you're doing. You must understand where you're going. You must have some sense of direction and some idea of what's the end game. Okay, that's Panya. Then the practice starts. Sīla, Samadhi are your practices. Sīla is you trying to do the right thing for your mind. Doing the right thing for your mind. Keeping it pure. body, speech, and mind. Okay? And when you can do this, right thing by the mind, pure body, speech, and mind, wholesomeness, not unwholesome, not a case of 10% try to be nice, 90% just give in to your instinct. If that's the case, then what it means is 16 hours a day or 90%. Oh. 2 hours while you are sleeping is when you are kusala. Even your dreams are kusala. 10% is quite jalak, right? No, cannot. In order to be able to meditate, to be able to do a good meditation, meaning, what does it mean? The mind can go quiet and it doesn't get distracted, it doesn't run all over the place, it stays where you put it. You tell your mind, please keep quiet and sit here, the mind stays there. In order for that to happen, without you pulling out the whips and pulling out the chair and the mind stays where you left it, for that to happen, Sīla has to be in place. Okay? Without your mind being kusala, Sīla I equate to being kusala, wholesome. If your mind is not wholesome enough, meaning day in, day out, you want to scold, you scold. You want to get angry, you get angry. You want to get annoyed, you get annoyed. You want to get miffed, you get miffed. Because you very well practice it. Don't get angry, you get miffed. Get irritated. Are you like that? You just like that, not so good. Okay? As long as your mind constantly stray in this general direction of the zit, it means you will have problems with meditation. And it may not be anger. It can be just frustration. Who doesn't get frustrated? You will say, hey, don't like that senior. Who doesn't get frustrated? The bus, so hot. People stand like this, people drive like that. Who doesn't get frustrated? You try lah. As long as you allow the mind to stray in the general direction and stay there. Stray there, not good enough. Stay there. Your meditation tak jalan. It can't go quiet. Why? You can ask the mother there. You let the little boy run around. Tell the boy to sit next to you, he ain't going to sit next to you. Your mind is like him. Maybe he's better behave. Our mind can be really, really unruly. Right? So the practitioner's start point has to be a mind that tries to calm down the dosa and to tame, to neutralize, to moderate the lobha. Dosa actually is lobha. Okay, I told one class before, the mother of all unwholesome states is lobha. The mother of all unwholesome states is lobha, greed. And lobha is the original Eve because dosa came from lobha. If there is nothing you want, you won't get dosa. It's because there is something you want and you are not getting it that dosa arises. And from lobha and dosa, actually, lobha should be the original Adam. Because it's from lobha that spring dosa, and between the two, everything else came into being. You name anything. You name any akusala state. I dare you name me one that I cannot part with lobha and dosa. You just name anyone. Huh? For instance, something like, let's say something like fear. Fear. Can you link it for yourself? How does fear link to lobha? Can you link it for yourself? You want to live, you don't want to be hurt, I want to live, I want not to be hurt. So it's low bar, isn't it? Or something like boredom. So obvious it is low bar. When boredom arises, it's really because you want something thrilling, something that excites you, something that titillates the mind. Otherwise, I'm bored. Get on with it. This talk is dragging. Yes. Excellent. You see, doubt arises only because you want to know the answer. I want to know, can you get to the point, give me the answer. I'm very confused by what you say. You want clarity, right? For sure, in every akusala mental state, and most mental state you can think of, you will find the one thing somewhere, okay? And that's the mother of all akusala. So, as a practitioner, when I mean this, when I say start point is, watch your mind, be aware of whether greed arising or not, anger arising or not. If you have not learned to observe the arising of unwholesome mental states, all mental states, if you don't know any better, let me help you with this. If you don't know any better, you say, is this akusala or not? Do you feel good or not? As long as you feel a tinge of pain, as long as you feel a tinge of mental pain, let me just be more specific, mental unpleasantness. As long as it's mental unpleasantness, it is akusala, unwholesome. As long as it's mental unpleasantness. If you say, I meditate, when I'm meditating, I sit for too long, my legs get numb, my leg hurts. Right? That in itself is not akusala. But if you say, the leg painful is the leg's problem, not yours. When the leg is painful, and you're just watching the pain coming and going, that's nothing. But the point when you say, I'm feeling a little agitated about the pain, so that's where the sense of unpleasantness arises. That is when akusala has started. And then you watch your mind going, what if my leg dropped off? Paralyzed already. After that, I get, maybe there's a blockage. I get aneurysm and die. Is it aneurysm? Embolism? Whatever. One of the ism and you die. That is the mind talking too much. No one dies from just meditating, unless you've got an inherent heart problem, which is not the same thing. Okay. Okay, next slide. Now, I mentioned these, there are only two words introduced today. One is upstream, and the second is downstream. Let me explain a little about this. You can have, okay, using a regular experience, analogy. You build a condominium, you build a house, you build a flat. You build a flat, not you build, you bought an apartment in a flat. And this is brand new, so everything is very nice and sparkling clean, right? Then you shift in, and then you bring in your furniture, your old things, and some of which is with termites and all, and then you just brought them into the place. The original structure, I consider it upstream, where that brain, the basic structure, the fundamental place, it's new, it's well built, it's top notch. Okay? Downstream is when you pack it with things really. You start doing things to it. After a while of all kinds of people shifting in here, not taking care of the place, throwing garbage as they wish, doing all kinds of funny things, this new, sparkling, clean housing estate is going to become dirty, right? After it has become 35 years later, with everyone being inconsiderate and doing all kinds of funny things to this new place, what happens to it? The new basics, the baseline of this place is dirty, messy, staining, with smell, and so on and so forth. Yes? That becomes your new basic structure. You see what I'm saying? So you have what I call upstream, the mental state of the mind, the baseline. In the baseline is in a generic sense. In a generic sense, we should be doing the following. Your basic infrastructure. You need to build and deepen your sense of shame and conscience. And you've got to help yourself to develop fear of consequences. A situation where this individual says, let's say you have conscience, but for whatever reason, you start telling yourself, why have this conscience? It's a waste of my time. Why do I feel bad about doing some things? When you start saying things like that, one day you will wake up to yourself not caring what happens to other people, and that becomes your new baseline. You must never allow yourself to get into a state where the mind doesn't care. When it doesn't care, it doesn't care. When you say don't care, you're saying, I care for myself, I don't really care about another, right? But actually, when you say, I don't really care, it will boomerang on your mind. You don't care for another, eventually you don't really care what happens. And you could be at the recipient of this indifference yourself. Hiri is conscience, shame, a sense of shame. It's an inner check on how far wrong you can go. If you have an inner voice that tells you, don't do this, don't do that, it hurts people, this is not good. When you have that inner voice, actually that inner voice protects you from committing actions that really harm others and harm yourself. Do you understand? This is something really, in my mind, it is something to build. All practitioners need to build conscience well. Because ultimately, the best check is you. The best check is you for your own action. It's not other people, it's yourself. You must feel bad when you are exploring the loopholes of precepts. The moment you start asking, can we, no, seriously, what's wrong with white lies? The moment you say that, you must know for yourself, your hiri is under assault already. Your conscience is at a point where it says it's okay if we fudge the truth. It's an inner check. And you say, but I didn't harm anybody. You harm your mind unless you tell me you are anybody or you are not anybody or I don't know what. The moment you allow your mind to construct a story other than what you know to be truth, you construct, then what happens is you introduce a habit into the mind. It is called the habit of creative fabrication. And this little skill, you think you are in control of the skill. The moment you have it, it can take on a life of its own. You can fabricate, you can construct here and there, the next time it will construct for you. And you will believe your own storytelling. In Hokkien, Sīla. Who harm you? We harm ourselves. The mind has to be told, under no circumstances should you entertain shades of truth. Shades. you hold it there. Okay? And then your mind will go for truth. Otherwise, the natural tendency is to go for convenience. When it goes for convenience, you're in trouble. Okay? So, hiri is conscience, otapa is fear. It's what we call wise fear. Strengthen that. You see, if hiri is not a check, then it better be fear that check you. I'll tell you this cute little story. There was a psychologist. No, it's a psychiatrist, I think. There's this psychiatrist, American guy. And he was doing a story on serial killers. Yeah? And this is not Dhamma, but it is science. It is science. He was doing a story on serial killers, and he discovered that actually there's certain parts of the brain that, for this bunch of people who are serial killers, there's some part of the brain that do not light up when they are looking and observing a potential victim. See, conscious hiri is when we have empathy. When we have empathy. But for these people, when they look at a potential victim, the area of the brain that lights up when empathy arises, that part doesn't light up. So, for these people, the only check against them killing another is the fear of being caught. And there is another part in the brain that lights up for a normal person that doesn't light up for them. And therefore, no hiri, no otapa. And then they will kill. Okay? This professor put himself through the same machine and discovered that he had the same profile. Then he asked himself, but I have never had the urge to kill. I've never felt this. So he went to ask his family and friends that, hey, you know, I have this profile. What can you tell me about me? And they said, hey, you don't know how cruel your jokes are. So for him, that part of him with no hiri, right, became one that played pranks on people. And his pranks are painful, hard to bear, super duper pranks. Then he concluded that actually the reason why, for himself, he concluded, he never went into the serial killer mode because all his life he lived in a kusala world. I'm putting words into his mouth. His parents loved him, they cared for people. You know, it's a kusala world, and by his environment, they were shaping him towards a kusala frame of mind. And at the same time, because he worked with law enforcement, so he understands all these. Otapa is helped. Yeah? Otapa is helped. So my point to you is that strengthen your conscience and strengthen your fear of what's out there. And sharing this right chemical buff, this has to do with this part about our mind having this habit to talk a lot. Is it the regular mind talks a lot? Our mind talks a lot, right? If you are a negative person, your mind would say everything negative. Like earlier on when I gave you that little test, if your mind tends towards being skeptical, being careful, you are a streetwise businessman who is very careful about being taken for a ride, something like that, huh? Your response, the way your mind talks would be, oh, let's be careful about this. You know, we should exercise caution and let's scrutinize all the legal documents and so on and so forth. Not saying you shouldn't, I'm just saying that this is how your mind will talk. If you want to practice Sīla, you find that you are by nature a very angry person, for instance. You're by nature very angry, then the way to try and tame the anger is to talk, to train your mind to say the right thing. So every time your mind says he is asking for it, you must stop yourself and say, wait. This is my usual way of talking. I should say, is there a reason why he's behaving like this? Something like that. Maybe I should exercise more caution here. The Buddha's teaching says exercise patience, be giving, be loving. Therefore, I am a student of the Buddha. I desire to know the Dhamma. Then I shall put into practice his teaching. You say like this. You don't say like this. Okay, special circumstances. Under normal circumstances, I will be forgiving, but here this one's special. I shall not be forgiving. Otherwise, you will never learn. But when you talk like this, your mind will veer towards anger. So how do you say the right thing? There are actually many things you can say to yourself. If I continue to get angry, I will only be building up for me all kinds of negative, painful, harmful chemicals, and I will hurt myself. Something like this. In fact, actually, for downstream, this is exactly what I said. This is taken from a particular sutta given by the Buddha, and I introduced this to share with you one method of holding the Sīla line. This came from the Buddha. Buddha said one should develop metta for the person one resents. Yeah? In other words, you see anger arising, you see whether you are able to bring up metta. If by nature you are a friendly, smiling, easygoing person, this is a piece of cake. Did you know that? For anyone who is generally happy, easygoing, when someone, it doesn't mean that you don't get angry when someone says nasty things and unreasonable things to you, right? Suppose I say you're basically a nice person, a good practicing Buddhist, every day give Dhamma, every day you give Dhamma, very easygoing. And then someone says, you think he's serious? No, he's there for the credit. Then you say like this. Something like that, maybe arising like this. You can have an arising. But you are someone who is by nature easygoing, then it's very easy for you to say, never mind, just let be. I shall have metta. And straight away the metta energy arises for you. Whereas if day in, day out, it is so easy for your light bulb to blow. You hear someone only achoo in your face, and your fuse is lit. Then you want to do metta very hard. For you to bring up metta, very hard. Then you should do number 2. Develop compassion. These are all words to use. If metta doesn't work, develop compassion. What it means is compassion should be easier. Why? Because compassion sits on empathy. Did you know that? In order for compassion to come up, you must feel the pain of another. When you feel the pain of another, straight away, 你的气就消了. You understand? If you don't feel the pain of another, 你的气不会消. Depending on you lah. Metta and Karuna, 2 very different kusala energy, 2 very different principles. It's a baseline mental state it sits on. Metta for people, this is my own observation, nothing that the Buddha has said. My own observation is people whose metta comes on relatively easily generally tend to be people who feel very happy, who feel very blessed. If they feel grateful. People who have a sense of very blessed, very grateful, metta comes on very easily. If you are the sort that nothing satisfies you, nothing satisfies you, a nice, loving, caring husband also doesn't satisfy you, then metta very hard to come out. Karuna sits on empathy, pure another's pain, you will feel sorry for the person. You see that? If you don't feel the pain of another, don't need to negotiate. I'm not happy with you. Something like that. Okay? Then if metta doesn't happen, compassion doesn't happen, the next one is develop equanimity. Don't think about it. Let be. You look at the next, actually it's very interesting, you see. The third one says equanimity. The fourth one says disregard. Ignore the fellow. So the first says metta comes out. The second one says if metta doesn't work, you feel sorry for him. Try and think of a reason to feel sorry for him. If that doesn't work, you just say, don't think so much, don't feel so much, just hold the feeling. Equanimity. Huh? The fourth one says disregard. Ignore the fella. Ignore the guy. The fifth one says, you think about it. Karma, everyone does things and things happen. If the fella is very nasty, he will have to bear, he will be the heir of his own actions. Karma. Do you see a certain pattern here? What is the pattern? Actually, for the regular person who has never really practiced, it's the fifth one that works. For the regular person who has never practiced and he is as angry as the next or as low as he's a national average person, the only way 他的气会消 is he say 自作自受啊 your karma, your karma. The regular person has to talk himself into not getting too agitated. You see what I'm saying? That's the regular person. So which one works for you? You know where you are as a practitioner. So if we go backward, it begins to make more sense. So you get angry and it doesn't pacify you unless you tell yourself it's okay, he's karma. Then it feels better. That means your anger takes a long time to calm down. Until you say there is justice in your mind, and there will be justice, and then you are pacified a little. Or you just ignore. Right? If you don't want to think too much, if you can just ignore and walk away, not bad, that's still quite good, isn't it? You ignore and you walk away. So you may be at that level. One level up is you are very indifferent. Don't really bother. Don't think too much, don't care too much, just don't bother. The next level up is you can feel for the individual. You can understand where he's coming from. You may not agree with what he's doing, but you feel sorry for him. So when someone is angry, and someone is agitated, and someone is sitting down there giving life, making life difficult for others, and in your mind you say, he must be having a lot of pain for him to behave like this. It's okay. Then your practice has come some way. That even if you don't feel any sympathy or compassion, right? The next level is you're such a peaceful, happy, joyous person that even the most ridiculous fella throwing a tantrum doesn't disturb you. So your metta is there. You see what I'm saying? So you ask yourself, are you 1, 2, 3 or 4 or 5? Then you know how many more, how much more is your practice journey. It's interesting, isn't it? Starts from what I call the best to, okay, let me try. Yeah? Now I won't tease you by asking you, you tell me where you are, let's do a show of hands. I shouldn't tease you. Now, this is for the ones who are doing number one. Huh? Actually, no. This is another set of methods that the Buddha taught the monks. This one he taught the monks how they should reflect. Remember earlier on I said you learn to talk your way into the right chemical bath. Basically, your mind, when it is in a kusala state, the chemicals that are released the chemicals that are released enable you to experience pleasure. If you are very angry and very akusala, the chemicals released in your brain will cause you to feel pain. Okay? And I said, learn to talk wisely. Say the thing that will help your brain to let go and make peace. So these are some of the ways that the Buddha taught. Okay? If you have the arising in you akusala, so it's loba, dosa, any of the loba, dosa, moha kind of thoughts, you will switch. Replace it, give attention to some other sign connected with wholesome. So if you find yourself, for instance, feeling very egoistic or feeling very agitated, why are you parking here, why are you doing this? Straight away switch it to compassion. He's in a hurry maybe? Let be. Forgive. You have to switch. If you don't switch, you are allowing akusala to become an illegal squatter in your house. Straight away, if you can remember, you switch, you replace. Then, if that doesn't work, and the akusala, the anger still continues to surge up, then you tell yourself, all these akusala thoughts, they are bad for my mind. They will cause me to have more acidic chemical bath. I don't want to live in a state of semi-boil. I have to pacify them. Get it? Do you understand what I'm saying? So the first one says, I'm going to repeat again. The first one says something that if your mind, this is what I teach me. I don't want to give. And I will tell this, give. This is what you do. This is part of your practice. Just give. And you will give without thinking. I don't feel like doing it. Do without feeling. Think too much means your akusala will win the day, you see. Don't think. Should I or should I not help my friend? Help. Dana, chaga. But then if he doesn't study, think too much. Do. Help. Chaga. Chaga. No but. Okay, this is replace. They all always argue. Chaga. Sit down there, be patient. Ganti. Replace straight away. But they talk too much, so are you. See what I'm saying? If your mind says, but they are like this, you will tell yourself, I am doing the same thing. Otherwise, you will get agitated. So, first one, replace. The second one, you tell yourself, this is not about for others. It is also for me. When I am doing dana, it is to make life easy for him. It is also to help me. Any wholesome action gives my mind, feeds my mind nutritional emotions. Makes me peaceful, makes me happier. And then that set the baseline again, you see. If you are always wholesome, it sets the baseline for your brain. If you are always unwholesome, or you are toggling between wholesome and unwholesome, who will eventually win? Unwholesome. When Superman fight with what's his? Okay, I'm obviously not a cartoon character. Bad choice of analogy. I must kryptonite. When you are confronted with your weakness, you will lose. Okay? Whatever is your weakness, don't fight. Walk away. Replace it. The more you think about it, the more you're going to lose. And tell yourself, you not only lose, you lose ugly. That's the second one. First one, replace. Second one, move. Second one, tell yourself, do not tolerate, do not engage, because when you do, you will suffer. And then the third one says, don't think about it. Okay? The third one says, look away and ignore. What it means is, you try and forget those thoughts. You should not give attention to them. Don't think about it. Look away. And if you say, oh, that's very hard, then you are left with 1 and 2. If 3 is very hard, then you have to do 1 and 2. 1 or 2. So, 3 is normally, it's the individual. Some individual, I have a friend who's very cute, he told me, don't think about something and then that's it, he will drop it. So that's him. That's his way of handling thoughts. And he cannot understand why the rest of you can't do it. You see, the mind is a creature of habit. If this is your habit, this is what you can do. And the mind is a creature of habit. And so know this, if the mind is a creature of habit, if we have built up bad habits, your mind is a creature of bad habits. You see what I'm saying? The fourth one, literally stopping a flow of thought in its track. It's stopping a thought process. Right at the point when you see the thought arising, you stopped it already. For instance, let me give an example. For instance, let's say you have a weakness for char kway teow. The moment you say, what do I feel like eating? Don't stop thinking. Stop. Because the next one will be char kway teow. You don't think, you stopped it, and then there is no thought arising. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay? For those of you who meditate, you must know what I'm saying. Because if you don't know what I'm saying, then we need to train your meditation further. When you meditate, you know when thought arises, and you know when thought ceases. You're not caught up in thoughts. Okay? When you do your meditation correctly, you're not caught up in thoughts. If you are very aware of the nature of your mind, then you are able to stop it before it proliferates. So what's the difference between looking away and stealing the thought process? The third one is more forcefully. More forcefully. You're not necessarily aware of thought process. You just don't think. Don't think. Every time the mind strays a bit closer, don't think. And you tell yourself, I'm not thinking. Whereas the fourth one, this person understands arising and falling away of thoughts. So it's not a case where he's not thinking. It is, his mind wouldn't stray to the thought. It let go. It stops thinking. He is aware of awareness. It's just aware. Not even into the thought. Any thought. Okay? You lived. The fifth one is very, very interesting. I've never actually done it myself, but I think this is what it means. With the teeth clenched and the tongue pressed against the roof of his mouth, he should beat down, constrain, and crush mind with mind. I think it means using your physical form to stop thinking. So if you press hard, say you clench your teeth, right? Then your mind is on the teeth. If you press hard if you press your tongue against the palate of the mouth, the roof of the mouth, then your mind is at that action. So by doing that, you are forcing the mind to pay attention to a physical sensation, but not to a mental activity. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's what it means. But as I said, I've never done this. The way that I find it very comfortable doing is actually the fourth one. Just know arising and let it go. But it depends on your own creature habit. You see, for me, the way that I've been asked this before, how do you practice, how do you incorporate the Dhamma in your daily life? And this is what I tell myself. Our mind constructs stories. It lives in its own little realities. Every story that we construct, you will believe. And your construction is because of your craving. There's something you want and your construction will start. What we have to learn is to keep reminding ourselves the mind capability of constructing. Your mind is the house builder, you see. It is a construction worker. It's foreign talent. So it shouldn't be so talented. So we tell our mind, every time you're aware of this construction going on, you basically go tell them, 12 o'clock midnight, don't work anymore. You impose Singapore regulation on the mind. It past midnight, past working hours, time to stop constructing, just rest. And then the mind goes back into not constructing again. Very often, our akusala and our kusala arises because your mind is constructing. Last night at another talk, I introduced this concept of dukkha dukkhatta, viparinama dukkhatta, shankara dukkhatta, 3 types of dukkha, right? I spoke about this last night. It was last night, no, Monday night. Time flies. See, you don't construct, so a problem. Lose time. Dukkha dukkhatta is the experience that you have at the moment you are experiencing it. So whether it's a physical pain or even the loss of someone, when you lose someone, immediately there is a sensation of pain. This is actually dukkha dukkhatta. Viparinama dukkhatta, change, associated with change, dukkha because of change, and shankara dukkhatta, dukkha because of construction. Both are mind-made, meaning the nature of dukkha fundamentally sits on mind activities. You can experience pain in the body, but you don't have to have the emotional angst to double the pain. So a physical pain is a physical pain. The body telling you something is wrong here. I'm feeling uncomfortable. When the mind reflect and think about it and tell story about the pain is double. In fact, that's when the real pain starts. Shankara dukkhatta is mind thinking, constructing, telling stories. When the mind comes into the picture to tell stories, the pain is enhanced. Even viparinama dukkhatta is the mind. Only the mind experiences change and loss. The mind experiencing attachment and the loss of a sensation. The mind has to come into the picture. The mind is not in the picture time. Passing is passing. Moving on is moving on. Nothing hurts. But when the mind feels regret that there is change, when the mind reminiscence about what should be, how it should be like, when the mind gets in the act, that's where the pain starts. Sīla, response, is to the mind. Sīla is not body, Sīla is absolutely mind. So the only way, no, I shouldn't say only way, I will put it this way. You can have Sīla without real understanding. You can teach the child, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Good, bad. And the child will experience the joy as he does, whether or not he understands why he should do it. It is possible. But Sīla sitting on wisdom is when Sīla really gets the oomph. And when you understand it's for your own happiness, it's for the practice, it's for spiritual growth, when you understand that, and then holding the Sīla line comes much easier. Okay? 9, 10, 9, 5. Any question? That's it, right? I can't remember any factors. Okay, any question?
Thank you for the sharing, Sister Sylvia. So when it comes to hearing conscience, right? How can you guide yourself away from being too hard on yourself? Or being uptight now?
Oh, uptight, huh?
Because there is a trap I can.
Uptight is not hiri, leh.
It's not.
Hiri, well, uptight is when you are holding on to the rules. When we say someone is uptight, it's a connotation. It's that word that carries a whole baggage of meaning, right? What do you understand by the word uptight? Very strict. Yeah? Is that a fair point? What else do you understand by the word uptight? Sticking to the rules, being very disciplined, very rigid. They're all the negative connotation. It is not hiri. Hiri is just an inner conscience. I am not uptight at all. But that does not mean that I'm not holding Sīla. You see, to hold Sīla is when your mind says, I don't want to harm another. I don't want my action to bring pain to another. It's actually very straightforward. Any action, anything, any activity that arises from my decision, whether the activity is expressed through words or through action. Thoughts you can't tell, but let's say it pops out as words and it pops out as action. If those activities bring pain to someone and it's deliberate, I am motivated by wanting to cause pain, then I am being akusala. If I'm motivated by my self-interest, meaning it is for my gain as opposed to for your welfare, it's for my gain, and then I say something, then that is not nice. I'm being akusala. I'll give you an example. Very often, we advise another. We give advice to another, telling the other, it is for your own good, I'm telling you this. Yeah? We have heard this, right? For your own good. Huh? And then the other fella, when they hear the word for my own good, they very takut really. Don't know what's coming next. And if you have a reputation for always offering unsolicited advice for people's good, and they're never palatable, then for sure akusala greets you even before you start your akusala spill. Buddha said there are 5 conditions for kusala, for right speech. There are actually 5 conditions. It has to be factual, no lies. So white, grey, or cannot. It has to be factual. It has to be truly beneficial, meaning when you say it, it helps the person become better, become more kusala, okay? For the person's benefit. But it's the next lot. Spoken gently, spoken with metta in your heart, timely advice. Many a times when we say it's for their good, it's about our convenience, our benefit. Do we even watch the akusala, the craving in here? You are being self-righteous. When you tell someone it's for his good, you're saying, you're being self-righteous. And in my book, I make it very clear. When someone is being self-righteous, they are narrowly imposing rules on another, not with the other's benefits in mind, It's you being very narrow and petty in your applications of the do's and don'ts. And there is no empathy that arises in you. Empathy. So if you apply the Buddhist principle about what's good, about what's kusala speech, then when you give advice, you've got to find whether the 5 conditions are there. Do you have metta? Is your mental state, the driving mental state, is it soft? Is it light? Is it joyous? Is it happy? Metta is all of the above. If you are neither soft, nor light, nor happy, and there is a touch of unpleasantness there, it is not metta. You have only 4 out of 5. So you may say very gently, I tell you, it's for your own good. Very gentle, right? But in your heart, in your mind, see that heart up there. In your mind, you must know, is there the soft mental energy? Is there this joy? Is there this giving kindness there? If there isn't, it is not metta. Better not to say anything. When you have metta, when you truly have experience of metta in you, do you know what will happen? You'll find that you have nothing to say. Seriously, you may see some activity, and you see that the activity, unless it's very serious and it's causing a lot of pain for other people, but if it's just him having fun, you have nothing to say. Let be. It's okay. Metta comes up, everybody's good. No need for his good. Even you are good. Okay? So, does that answer your question? If you're uptight, you're not very, that is not morality. Strict application of the rules without understanding is not morality, it's self-righteousness.
Even on myself?
Even on yourself, then you're giving yourself a lot of grief. Sīla is to make you happy and joy. Actually, when you observe Sīla properly, you're actually a happy person because what are you taming? You are taming lobha dosa. You are taming lobha dosa. You're calming that down. You're telling yourself, as long as there's lobha, there's greed, you're telling yourself, wait a minute, let's not act on it, let it be. Don't act on it. When there is dosa, you tell yourself, don't act on it, let it be. Because it's nekkamma, aweyapada, nekkamma, letting go, aweyapada, no ill will, avihimsa, no cruelty. So you tell yourself when there is lobha and there is dosa, you will not act, you will not speak. No words are coming out of your mouth. As long as lobha dosa is in the picture, the words are not coming off your mouth. As long as there's lobha dosa in the picture, you will not act. So what does it mean? Let's say your child upsets you terribly because your child is answering back. I say one, you say one. I say two, you say two. At that point, what do? Walk away. My advice. It does not mean you cannot discipline. It means when you discipline, when you are red up here, and the softer of voice and the lightest of touch. You are feeding dosa, you see. It does not mean you cannot discipline. Discipline when the mind goes quiet. Then you are clear what should be said, what should not be said, how it should be said. If you're serious about someone learning correctly from an episode, if you're serious about wanting to help, come back when your mind is quieter, calmer, and you're clear what you're trying to help this person learn. Look, we all want the person to learn, assuming that's where you're coming from, okay? Assuming that you're the mother and you really, or the father, you really want this child to learn. When you explain to the child when the ego and the akusala are not so high up, not so strong and intense, don't you think people will learn better? And you will speak clearer. It is not 九桃碰九桃. You are angry, this is 九桃, this is rock. It is angry, that is rock. And the two of you are knocking at each other. What will you create? Friction. Two rock, is friction. Nothing is going to work there. Nothing is getting in. Whereas, if you seriously want to make a difference, and you want to register the point, softer touch, clearer mind, be clear what you're trying to achieve. And you do the same to yourself. You don't sit down there and beat yourself up. I'm so bad, I'm no control. Is that going to help? You should sit there and say, why this anger? Why the akusala is so strong? What is it that the mind wants? What is it that the mind craves for? Then you identify exactly what is it the mind wants. You next ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth getting all this agitation over this thing that I want? You see what I'm saying? Why do people get uptight about themselves? I tell you why. Very often it's self-perception. I should be like this. If I am a good Buddhist, I should be like this. I should be like that. I am this and I am that. So you build your ideal of a Buddhist, and then you put yourself next to it, and you look so small next to your ideal so big. You see what I'm saying? But you must know both ideas are man-made. Your idea about yourself and your idea about what is ideal. Ideal comes from idea. You hear what I'm saying? They are both mind-made. Then someone might say, then what is right? What's wrong? Never hear my talk. What is right is when activity and action through your words or action, even in your thoughts, do not harm another. It is not living to an ideal, it's just not bringing pain. It's actually not that difficult. If you know saying something will hurt, don't say it. Wait. Wait until you can say it without hurting. It's not say it the same, you will say it differently. When you're not angry, you make your point clearer without causing pain anywhere. If we are angry, when the anger is up, it clogs the mind, and whatever comes out is just not nice. There's more anger, and the intent is to stab. So that's not nice, really. Okay? Be kind to yourself. Any other question? No more? Yes.
Thank you, Sister, for wondered if, as an out of my own observation for my own practice, I just wonder if Sīla has to tie in a certain amount of mindfulness. And I wonder if, considering this, what other factors that help hold the Sīla, because I also, from my own observation, it's like whenever I have heart energy, like the angry kind of energy, if I have no mindfulness, I wouldn't put the restraint on walk away, let it be. There needs to be a certain amount of mindfulness that comes into the picture, or there is an awareness before, you can say stop, let it go, turn away. So how do we bring it in if you say that Sīla is like the starting point of a practitioner?
In the Eightfold Path, Sīla sits before Sati. I know most people would say that mindfulness helps, and mindfulness will help you to hold the Sīla line. That is true, it's not wrong for a practitioner. For the regular person, you notice the sequence of the Eightfold Path, right? You notice how it flows. Straight away from the right understanding comes training your mind to constantly not hold, not get upset, not hum. And then that translates into your action and speech action in the livelihood. And then comes right effort before you arrive at Sīla, right mindfulness, right? The Eightfold Path goes like this. It's a practitioner path, by the way. Eightfold Path is a practitioner path. Meaning someone who seriously want to walk this Dhamma path, who really want to understand what the teaching was all about, and to observe the teaching comes alive in the mind. Meaning, as you observe the nature of your mind, you begin to see a correlation between what he taught and your observations. The correlation between what Buddha said and what's happening in your mind. If you want to experience that, you have to put into place the Eightfold Path. For the regular person, in the regular life, when you don't know any better, what did the Buddha say to the regular person who is not really a very serious practitioner? You just want to live a happy life. That's all you're asking for. A life that does not cause harm to others. When you die, really don't go hell. That kind. He said Dhamma. He started with Dhamma, Sīla, Sattva, Adinava, Nekkhamma. That was actually how he taught. What do these things mean? Dhamma, Sīla was precepts. In his time, to the lay people, the emphasis was do not harm others in gross ways. Killing, stealing, adultery, committing sexual misconduct, lying, these are very gross, very harsh treatment of others. Then comes Sattva, the heavens. We're not very sure what he spoke about in the heavens. We're not sure whether it's a literal heaven or a figurative one. Literal means the 31 planes of existence and all, with many, many heavens. The figurative one is happiness, to be happy in this life. So Dhamma Sīla, if it's a figurative heaven, is Dhamma Sīla will enable you to live a pretty peaceful, happy life. But don't overindulge, learn some moderation. Don't overindulge because you will end up with dukkha, and that is adinava. Learn moderation for a peaceful mind, peaceful life. That is nekkhamma. That's the sequence. Okay? Now to answer your question, is mindfulness critical? When you get angry, do you know? You will know when the anger is up. You won't know when it is coming up because you say, not mindful enough. You are looking for the ideal state where the mind has absolutely, or stays absolutely peaceful, stays absolutely kusala. But if you recall what he said about the four right effort, the four right effort actually says when the akusala is there, you purged it. The moment you purge akusala, you become aware, you become very aware whether or not it's there. Meaning to say, the regular person will experience akusala. Your mindfulness is never that sharp. When you experience, the moment you experience akusala, you don't give in. That's the point. You hold the line. You want to scold, you don't scold. You can choose. Why must you choose to give in? Anger arises. Unless you're telling me, I don't even want anger to arise. That eightfold path, beginning to the end, it will happen one day. But if you are this regular person, anger will arise, greed will arise. This is our choice, because we didn't choose the path. We choose a regular day life. Anger will arise, greed will arise. How is that going to stop? Mindfulness comes when you really understand what you are doing and you are already well into the practice, and then the mindfulness is very strong. Otherwise, the regular person, your mindfulness is once on, all the time off. Sometime on, most time off. Right? Then if we say that, oh, I don't know mindfulness, I cannot be Sīla, then you die lah. Because most time is not there. No, we should tell ourselves, Sīla is a choice. When we get angry, do you still remember the Dhamma? Anger comes. When anger has arisen, has a reason, you just tell yourself, oh, lai liao. Do I lay out the red carpet and say, feel free, have a drink, have a smoke? You don't do that. You will then tell yourself it's okay. I'm regular. In fact, actually, Sīla, akusala teaches us humility. Okay? Akusala teaches us humility. How can you even say you are such a great person when your anger comes up, your greed comes up? You are a regular person. Maybe you try to be a nicer regular person. So you are regular latte. You are not some supra-mundane suka, no milk. Susu. I better not try Malay. When I go Malaysia, I will not speak Malay. People are just going to laugh and then that's it, very kusala. You see, the regular man, the regular person can't help loba dosa arising. So let me assure you, you are not a bad person. You are only regular. Join the club. You see what I'm saying? I let me tell you something really cute. A young friend whom I'm trying to get to join the teaching squad, and very honestly, he said to me, Sylvia, I know the Dhamma, I know all these concepts, and I know it well, and of course he passed exams and all, he knows. Then he said, but you know I got temper. What, you think I don't have? We all have a temper. The issue is not temper arising. The issue is, what did you do after it has a reason? That makes you different. If you are a practitioner, temper arising, and you say, hey, first you don't own it. Don't say, oh, I'm so bad, I'm so evil today, I go prostrate 20 times. Don't do that. Just say, hey, it's up. Right? It is not consistent with my teacher's teaching. I shall calm you down. Calm down. Don't give in. Because this thing about akusala, anger and greed, very cute. The moment they come up, they own your mind. This is what the Buddha meant when he said, you have allowed Mara to take over your mind. Have you noticed the moment anger comes up? It's ego rule, you know. It's so difficult to fight. Whose fault? Nobody's fault. It happens. So what is your job? Mara, stop the guy, stop it, stop this. It's like something has taken possession of you. So you tell yourself, if I am serious about wanting to practice, then when it comes up, I will do what the Buddha advised. Stop it. Don't think. The more you think, the more Mara has you. Your thoughts are all owned by Mara. The moment anger comes up, your thoughts are all ruled by Mara. So you've got to fight to try and bring the Dhamma back. You want the D, you don't want the M. Okay? So the moment the anger has come up, or greed has come up, the desire has come up, you will have to tell yourself, I let this thing proliferate, it's to my detriment. It will give me pain. So I will not let it get a foothold. Most people, when they talk about having the sati, actually it means don't let it come up. And because in our regular, many people's assumption is, anger makes you a poor practitioner. Greed makes you a poor practitioner. No, anger, greed means you are not akanagami. When anger and greed arises, it means you are not anagami. It does not make you a bad practitioner. You are a bad practitioner when you go from anger to anger to anger and you feel very good about it. Then you are no practitioner. Do you understand what I'm saying? When it comes up, it's not a problem. It is jettisoning them. Try and get rid of them. Teach yourself the right things to say. Teach yourself the right things to do. That's what he taught. Replace it with kusala. Why do you think he taught a whole list of anger management tools? Or akusala management tools? Why did he teach those things? If every one of them didn't need it, why should he teach it? Oh, today I've got nothing to do. Let me teach you something that you're all to need. Cannot be, right? Buddha cannot be so 无聊one, right? He taught things that were immediately relevant to his disciples. Meaning the moment they carry it, they know what to do with it. You understand? Nobody go for a buffet spread, not hungry. got greedy also. But generally people go and eat food when they are hungry, right? You know what I'm saying? So he taught all these things because people needed them. They all had issues with all the akusala. So all these are tools to manage the akusala. Your job is to memorize the tools and apply what is relevant. You know which one to apply, it will help you to deal with akusala. Deal with akusala effectively. And you know what's really cute? All the tools that he put there, right? Several of them are used by modern psychologists. They didn't attribute only, but Buddha didn't mind. They never attribute, you know. He taught all these things. It's not like suddenly people say, I have an enlightenment. You know, I tell you, 22,500 years ago, someone said like this really. Right? He taught these tools. Replacing akusala with kusala thought, right? Replacing it, ignoring it, don't talk about it. What else? The one that modern psychologists haven't taught, but they are going into it, is stealing. Because the mindfulness thing, stealing the mind, it has to do with that method. But they didn't teach the rest. They only taught the ones which are useful for the modern man. Okay? Yes?
self-belief, strongly principled person. What is the obstacle?
Strongly principled is not the same as holding a belief in self. They're not the same. A principled man, if his principle is about himself holding the Kusala line, if he say, I will try to maintain no loba, no dosa, and I'm very serious about not allowing loba and dosa to arise in my mind. This is my principle, and he uphold that, I will say, good. Very strong practitioner. If the person said, oh, Sīla is important, all of you must be Sīla. Let me show you the demerit points, and then spend the rest of the time telling you where you have gone wrong. That is not Sīla. He is not practicing. The person is not practicing Sīla. Sīla is not for you to go out there as a moral police with a clipboard and going around giving out demerit points. That is not Sīla. Sīla is you looking at yourself, looking at your own mind, saying, today, whom have I hurt, and what can I make amends? How can I make amends? How can I bring joy and bring comfort and bring relief to another? If you're really Sīla, that should be your perspective. How I did not hurt someone and how I have helped someone. That should be your only concern. Your concern should not be, do you do? Do you help? Do you say? This one sure very solitude one, because there's nobody around him. All ran away. Okay, so I'm not sure about your question, but I will make this point. Highly principled, it's about yourself holding the Sīla line. And the purpose of sharing this talk with all of you is to stress to you that it is not the easiest part of the house. Sīla is easy to understand superficially. Everybody can agree killing is wrong, stealing is wrong. Its superficial understanding is very easy. Understanding it at a much deeper level. Why like this? How can I uphold Sīla without tying myself up in knots and making myself into the regular steel ruler? Uptight. Until I become like a baseball bat, so stiff. That's challenging. How do you be light and happy and joyous, kind and patient and so on, and you are holding the Sīla line? And the whole world is not afraid of you because every time they see your face, they know it's demerit points. That is not good. Huh? They should see your face with the pursing lips and the piercing eyes. And the zi. Any sound that comes out cannot be zi, okay? Yeah. Any other question? You have a burning question? No more? Okay.